Hello, welcome to the Citrus Garden. If you're new here, my name is Christina. If you're not new here, welcome back. It's great to see you. This is a reading for Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising, or if you have any other significant Pisces placements, there may be a message in here for you. So Pisces, to get started, I have a few channeled messages that came through that I will read from my notes. So as I'm filming this, we're about to enter the Aquarius full moon. So you may want to watch the last Aquarius reading because I was getting an energy from that reading for your reading today. It's coming through a little bit differently, but there may be a message in that reading for you because it's Aquarius full moon that we are in at the moment. But the message that I was getting that was similar to that one, just for this beginning piece, is that there's this sort of like going back and forth energy. In that reading, it was kind of coming through as like with the metaphor of like swimming laps, like going back and forth. For you though, and it's feeling like unlocking pieces of the puzzle, like new pieces of the puzzle every time you go back and forth with something, whatever that means. So it is also kind of coming through with the Two of Swords energy, but it doesn't have to be that for you. So just take it how it resonates. But where this differs from Aquarius, because that reading felt a little bit more frustrating than your energy does today. Today for you, it feels more like what I was getting was an intuitive treasure hunt for you, Pisces. And it was coming through as like spirit or your guides or the universe, whatever word you want to put there. I'm going to just use like spirit is almost like playing a game with you, Pisces, is how it's coming through. So it is meant to be a fun and enjoyable process for whatever it is for you today. And it's kind of like so you may be getting a lot of synchronicities. You may be getting a lot of hints and clues about what this is. The intention that I'm getting for you, like from spirit, is that it is meant to lighten your spirit and to bring you out of a foggy or smoggy environment is how it's coming through. So the smog initially came through as fog, but then it wanted to be clarified interestingly, as a smog. So it's coming through as being more of like an energy in your environment is polluting the airspace is how it was coming through. So of course this feels energetic, and it could relate to any sort of environment for you that you perhaps spend a lot of time in. It could be your home, it could be a workspace, it could be whatever. So there is some sort of energy in that environment that is polluting the airspace, and it's coming through as like mental space, a lot of noise. It could be anxiety, any sort of like tough swords energy. So if someone's going through like a very like tough mental energy, it can sort of translate into this almost like energetic smog that is around them. That's how it's coming through. It doesn't always, but if someone's not really conscious of how their energy affects other people, then that's how it can play out. So it's not always, but just being aware of that. And so it's almost like the airspace, like the shared airspace between you and this other, whatever it is very cluttered and anxious is how it's coming through. So it may not be your energy, Pisces, but it may be an energy that's around you, or that's I want to say physically close to you in some way. Okay, so I'm getting this message here that your spirit guides are playing a game with you to almost pull you out of the smog. And it was kind of coming through as like those guessing games where somebody puts like usually with you and another person, where you have like a photo of a person on your forehead or the name of a person or something like that you can't see, obviously, but the other person can see. And so you would ask the other person sort of questions like, is this an actor? Is this a whatever? And the other person would answer yes or no. And that way you get closer to the identity of the person, or like, you know, the object, whatever it is that you're trying to guess. So that was the metaphor that was coming through for you today, Pisces, where spirit is the one that you're playing games with, is how it's coming through. Like you have like, and it's interesting that the forehead is coming through because, again, intuition is very strong. A very strong theme for you at the moment. I do feel like whatever it is that you're going through at the moment has a very strong tie to strengthening your intuition. And what was coming through with this for you, Pisces, is that in order to strengthen your intuition, you have to ask the right questions, because it's not just like you are receiving downloads or whatever. I do think that's part of it. But first, in order to get the download, you have to ask a question, whatever that is. And you also have to ask the right questions. And I think you're starting to ask the right questions. So you are strengthening your intuition, but it was also coming through this message of like, intuition is not quite the right word for it. It's not strong enough is how it's feeling. It's part of it, but it's not all of it. So it's coming through with like a particular gift that you might have. Like, it could be like a spiritual gift that you have, a talent, but more importantly, something to do with your power. Power was really strongly being emphasized. And of course, power is linked to pain. And so this smog energy, whatever that is for you, however that's manifesting in your physical, the smog is representing a particular challenge that spirit set for you in order to strengthen your power. So it is part of like a challenge to help you grow. It is meant to also be fun, I want to say. But at the end here, there was another phrase coming through as being the intuitive shadow. So the shadow is coming through with this as being an aspect of yourself that is meant to protect you. So I do feel like there is something here for you where whatever it is that you are going through with this challenge, and it does feel like anxiety is related to that, or anxieties, insecurities, something like that. That's the challenge that you're being asked to push through or work through. And if we're talking about voices, for example, or like, because it does feel like mental or like, so, or what you're hearing, or it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be that for you. However it is that your gifts come through to you, that's where the challenge is. That the smog is louder or more powerful at the moment, feels like, Pisces. And it's like, in order for you to push back against it and become stronger. That's how it's feeling. Okay, so before I pull the rest of your cards, I got a new deck. It's called the Dark Moon Oracle, and I pulled one card off camera for you. So this one is called Nephthys. She is a Egyptian goddess. So I'm going to read what this card says for you. It says transformation. Nephthys is the Egyptian goddess who guides us through life's difficult transformations, helping us release the past and embrace the healing process to emerge stronger and renewed. Sometimes depicted with falcon wings, these represent her role in guiding souls to the afterlife and protecting them like a mother bird. Your life is changing now, and that isn't necessarily easy. Most people don't love change unless they have planned for it, but right now you're being asked to trust that you're going through this transition for a reason. Nephthys, the goddess of transformation, redolent with Aquarius energy, brings you the empowerment to navigate change with grace and wisdom. She teaches that change doesn't need to be chaotic. It can be purposeful. It can be a purposeful journey of release and renewal. Nephthys reminds you that your true power lies in your ability to adapt to new circumstances and guide others through transformation. Rather than resisting, embrace the process, let go of what obviously no longer serves you, and trust that every shift brings you closer to the future you desire. You're being called to use your unique intuition and vision to shape the world in your own image. The changes you're going through now are not obstacles, but opportunities for growth. Harness your inner strength to empower yourself and others along the way. Adapt, renew, and transform. This is where your true power lies. Yeah. So I do think you are going through a big transformation at the moment, Pisces. But you have a very strong guide here, especially with all this like bird imagery, divine messengers. However, that's the thing. I feel like there's something here where maybe a new aspect of your intuitive powers are being activated. So something different other than what you may be used to is developing, let's say. Okay, could I get a card for Pisces, please? But again, that Aquarius energy is coming through again, so you may want to watch that reading. Yeah, the Shaman. Very interesting, Pisces, because this card does talk about exploring your darkness. I strongly feel that there is an aspect of your shadow that's coming through that is meant to be a very powerful aspect of your intuition, is how it's feeling. So it's kind of coming through as being like, you're developing an aspect of yourself that has to do with like self-protection maybe, or you are retrieving an aspect of your soul. Perhaps that has to do with self-protection. But I do think, again, you're being guided. It does feel very strongly like you're being guided to do this. The Shaman talks about the one who can bridge between mystical and physical. So there's also that aspect as well. So whatever it is that you're doing in sort of a spiritual way is also translating to the physical for you. Now, I don't want to read from that description today because it wants to be a bit more like I feel like there's a significant aspect here of like testing or trusting your intuition beyond the obvious is how it's coming through. Because there's something here about like the surface level of something may be not the right filter is how it's feeling. Because the smog is very powerful at the moment, right? Like there's something coming through here about like, okay, so let's say you're driving and the weather conditions aren't great. Like there is smog. So it's physically, what you're seeing physically is not clear, is how it's coming through. And so if we're translating this more to like a spiritual or physical or let's say if we're translating this more to a spiritual or mental space, perhaps what you are seeing is not 100% true or clear because the smog is almost putting like a filter on it. So it's like you have to almost like look beyond the smog or look past it, or your voice has to be louder than the smog is how it's coming through. So it's kind of feeling like the Nine of Swords, which is this anxiety, and the Ace of Swords, which is the truth. And at the moment, it does feel like the anxiety is a little bit louder than the truth at the moment. That's how it's feeling. So for you, it almost feels like having to like quiet something. Like maybe take a moment to breathe or to take a step back or to like stop whatever it is that you're moving through, just to like get a clearer picture on something. The surface level may not be the truth. Yeah, the Underworld. A lot of dark energy at the moment, Pisces, for you. This one does talk about fear. I am going to read this one. This one also comes through with this energy of initiation. It is the darkest shadow realm, which we try vigilantly to avoid or deny at any cost. Try as we might, the darkness pulls us into its depths through disturbing dream images, unexpected accidents, illness, war, conflict, and ultimately death. Not visiting the underworld or denying its existence altogether is what gives it dangerous power. Traversing its forces us to bow humbly to the greater forces that be, while summoning the inner strength we previously underestimated. Take solace that the inner world subsumes everyone from time to time, making us deeper friends, more intimate partners, soldiers of light amid our shadowy times. Facing darkness and choosing light is the most profound calling of all. Okay, you are in this period of time of facing darkness. It could be fears. It could be, if it's not outright like nightmares, which I am not getting for you, but it could be, Pisces, just take what resonates. It could be things just like anxieties, like things that you're worried about, or things that you potentially may feel insecure about as well. That may be coming up in your dreams. So just take that how it resonates. You are exploring an aspect of your darkness at the moment. And with that comes power as well. I feel like you are also exploring a new aspect of your power. I think you are about to grasp it, because I do feel like because with the underworld, I also get something here of, the gem card, where the gem is found in the place that is totally opposite to it, right? Like the diamond in the rough. You're in the rough at the moment in order to find the diamond. So it could be that you're facing a lot of fears or insecurities in order to find this gem, whatever that is for you. Again, it is kind of feeling like a treasure hunt of some sort. But it's like you're finding this aspect of a gift or something of yourself. It does feel a bit like a soul retrieval aspect. And again, with the shadow, it could be... Okay, I can't remember what reading this was. If I can find it, I'll link it above. But there was a reading about... it was referencing this show called Inuyasha, which was an anime show back in the day, where this gem got shattered, and so they're trying to find all the like shards of this gem, and it's like in order to find the gem, it actually, like, the gem shards actually made the demons more powerful, which is interesting for you, Pisces, because it's almost, so maybe you're doing like a significant amount of internal demon slaying, right? Because it's kind of feeling like in order to know where the shard piece is, you have to fight a demon to get it, right? Like, that's how it's coming through. The gem resides in the place that is unlike it. So it's almost like activating, so it could be like in the form of activating old wounds, or again, for you, it feels more like anxieties or insecurities. And again, the color red is coming through because it feels like root chakra related. It could have to do with your physical body. It doesn't have to be, though. It could have to do with like your material wealth, your home, your safety, your stability, your family, your roots, your culture, like all of these sort of like root chakra energy type things where there may be anxieties about that or insecurities is really what's wanting to come through. And to look past the quote unquote demon or the fear or the anxiety, because that is where the gem is. It's almost like the fears are masking the true gem. the anxieties are masking the gem. And it's wanting you to retrieve your power, Pisces. Yeah, the shapeshifter. Very interesting, because you have here like this, the shards of the gem, which is very, very interesting for you, Pisces. Okay. So I'm getting this other message that and then here the mirror. Another shard. There's something here about like, so glass might be significant. It doesn't have to be, but the mirror does talk about these reflections that I feel like you're being asked to, sorry, I just got a confirmation for something personal. This deck is not wanting to sit straight. Okay. Sorry, distractions. What was I saying? The shapeshifter. I feel like you're getting this message here for you, Pisces, about the shapeshifter, where it is... Okay, because I'm kind of getting this energy of like things are not stable at the moment, and with this if we go back to that metaphor of like the treasure hunt, right? There are different steps of this process, whatever this process is for you, whatever this however this relates to you, where there's a lot of like intermediate steps before you get to the finished product, is how it's feeling. So for you, this may come through as being like, let's say you are trying to create something. Let's say you have a project in mind. It's like you have to like get one step, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the final step. It just means it's leading you to the next step, right? But you have to go through these like temporary states is how it's feeling in order to get to the next thing. I do think you are close though. Whatever that is, or it's like you're in the thick of it. And you are being guided. Okay. Can I get an animal card for you, Pisces? The bat. A very significant ending. And of course there's the full moon. There was a reading that I did during the new moon, which you may want to watch. I can't remember what sign it was, but I'll link it above. So that might have a significant sort of progression for you, is how it's coming through, because we're now at the full moon. So you may want to watch that reading. But this card does talk about closure. And of course it also talks to me about intuition, right? And like, because the bat is blind, it relies on sound. So it could be that you are... There's something about clairaudience. There's something about hearing things like in a way where it's like you're getting intuitive downloads through what you hear. So your clairaudient gifts may be coming online. I remember for me, when that happened, it was very anxiety inducing. Because there was a lot of things that needed to be cleared out of my system before I could actually hear the messages clearly. So you may be going through something like that. It doesn't have to be that for you. It's just talking about like your vision, whatever that means to you, like what you are seeing in whatever way. It could really be your third eye, is not reliable at the moment, is how it's coming through. It's like what you see is not reliable at the moment. It's like you're having to depend on something that is less developed or not as strong, because I feel like there's something here as well with like again, visions and metaphors, how it's coming through. It's not necessarily your actual sight. It could be your third eye, but it doesn't have to be. But it's more so talking about like human beings are very vision focused and heavy. Like we rely so much on vision. That is one of our strongest senses. But it's like you have to rely on one of the other ones is how it's coming through. So for you, it's like your primary gift, whatever that is for you, is not reliable at the moment. It's just really what's coming through. There are a lot of illusions around that particular gift. And so it's like you're having to rely on other gifts in order to get you through clearly. And I do feel like you are getting that, Pisces. Because I feel like there's something here as well with the shadow again. And it could be your shadow. It could be like the gift of the shadow is coming online. That may be something that you're not familiar with or that is not as strong with you. And it's interesting because the shadow comes online in order to protect yourself. So it could be something here where your gift of self-protection isn't that strong and that's what you're needing to work on. It could be, just take it if it resonates. I don't think that's true for everyone though, so only take that if it resonates for you. It is feeling though that like there is an aspect of shadow and power that are really strongly coming through for you as a theme, Pisces. The Underworld. You're getting the Scorpion. Okay. Can I get one more card with the Shapeshifter? And the Hawk. Yeah. And Dragonfly at the bottom of the deck. Okay. Very interesting how these cards are coming out. So this is how it looks on the table. You have 2 air elements and then the Scorpion. The Scorpion does feel like it's an element of the underworld. And so this is feeling like it's an environmental factor. It doesn't necessarily feel like you, Pisces. It does feel like that energy that is creating the smog. Whoever that is for you does feel like a person. The Scorpion in this deck does describe someone who's very passionate, but today it's coming through more with like fire that comes through as being sharp. Like, fire that can harm is how it's feeling. Where, especially if it's a person that we're describing, it can come through as being someone who like pushes forward, is always moving, like never takes time to rest, and that can cause other people to feel like this anxiety or like feeling rushed or just like being forced to do things that they don't want to do for the sake of this person's like unrelenting fire is how it's coming through. So that could be an element of the underworld, but for you it's kind of like, because you're coming through as air, it's like you're almost like bypassing it, not in a way where it's like not in like a spiritual bypassing kind of way. It just feels more like overcoming it is how it's coming through. Like because you are, it's almost like you're shape-shifting from the bat into the hawk. Yeah, the falcon and the hawk are of course related birds today. Transformation again. I do think this Scorpion is almost like the catalyst to get you to transform into the hawk. Because I was almost getting this energy for you, Pisces, of, those, I think they're called anglerfish in the ocean that have like the light bulb, the false luminescence, which is interesting, that phrase that's going through. Because it's almost like for you, Pisces, there may be an aspect of darkness in you that may be drawn to this energy here with the Scorpion. Because it's almost like it's almost coming through as being like you being some aspect of yourself may be drawn to the Scorpion or would have been drawn to the Scorpion in the past. But I feel like the Scorpion is not good for you, that energy. Because it is feeling almost like this is why your shadow is coming online, because the shadow is saying this energy is not good for you. It's actually trying to protect you from this energy. There's an aspect of you, though, that would have been drawn to this energy in the past, is how it's coming through. And so it's almost like part of you may be feeling drawn to this, right? But when you get close enough, it's almost like the shadow's like, no, we're not going there. And then it pushes you to become the hawk, right? To like transform this. Transform into this is how it's feeling. So the hawk does talk about a divine messenger and the divine guiding us out of a situation. So this shadow activation does feel like a divinely guided thing for you, Pisces, where it is trying to get you to avoid this energy, right? Like to protect yourself from this energy, whatever it is. Fair woman. Dealings or relationship with a woman with blonde, gray, or white hair. And then candle, you will be shown the way. Yeah. Okay, so maybe a fair woman is showing you the way. I don't know. Maybe there's someone in your life who is representing this sort of shaman energy. If so, there is someone who, like, this person would not be afraid of their own darkness. I feel like they readily explore that aspect within themselves. The archway. New opportunities, possibilities, and paths opening up. Yeah, finger. Warning you of a problem either now or in the near future. Yeah. That's coming out into the Scorpion. The skull. Hidden secrets can harm you. And the whale. Great worry over nothing. Could I get more cards about the finger and the skull, please? Beware of greed. Temporary problems. Okay, yeah. I do feel like okay, I don't think this is going to be a huge issue. Whatever this is for you. Pisces, you have egg at the bottom of the deck. Success assured with good plans and hard work. It almost feels like a small thing. I feel like in the past it might have been a bigger thing. In this case, it does feel kind of like almost like a very quick. It feels small. It doesn't feel like a big issue at all. But it does feel like it's like you're touching on this energy of the Underworld. And it's almost like warning you of a particular problem that has to do, so it has to do with greed in some way. But it is temporary. I feel like there is something here for you of like, I'm almost getting this image of like you're again driving in your car, but you pass by something that could have been dangerous to you. So it's almost like you're safe in your car, but you drove past something. That's how it's coming through. You just like pass through it is how it's feeling for you. So just be conscious of that. But somehow it has some sort of like lasting effect on you. I don't think it's like necessarily up close and personal, but you may be, again, seeing it. Six of Cups. So there is a soulmate energy here that's, I do think, helping you. And then you have Five of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles. The Magician. Ten of Cups. Wheel of Fortune. I do think there's something here of like a siren energy coming through. I don't know. I haven't watched the new movie, The Odyssey, but just that mythology of the siren is coming through here. Like there may be some sort of energy here that I feel it's almost like a very faint siren is how it's feeling. But it's kind of like there is a boundary between you and this energy though. So it's like it's not fully reaching you, but you can still hear it. I don't think it's anything to worry about, Pisces, but it is something here where it's like you're driving through, like instead of being on a boat, you're driving through. So you have windows, you have this glass that's protecting you from fully being swayed by the siren song, but the siren song still reaches you. That's how it's coming through. So it's almost like, I do feel like you are bypassing it. You are passing through it. It's not a big concern. It's a temporary problem, but that it may trigger this energy of greed, which is interesting, with the Scorpion. And how that might relate to certain triggers or anxieties. Oh, excuse me. Okay, can I get a couple more cards? The Hierophant and the Knight of Swords. Yeah, I do think that you will be receiving some sort of like divine guidance in this. And it does feel like it's through what you hear. You have Justice at the bottom of the deck, like strong air energy in your reading today, with the Dragonfly as well. Yeah, with the Siren Song as well. That's also through what you hear. So just be conscious of that. Can I get one last card? Page of Pentacles. This card talks about grounding. So doing grounding activities, I feel like is going to help with this. Like it being in your body is really what's wanting to come through. Especially if you are feeling anxious. It feels like the anxiety is not yours. It's the siren song. Right? The anxiety is the siren song, is how that's coming through. Especially if anxiety triggers sort of like maladaptive behaviors, which of course it can in everybody. That's not a judgment. Just be conscious of that. Do grounding activities that help you be in your body, Pisces. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there. If this reading resonated with you, please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.